Hello, everybody, and welcome out to episode 80 of the Pod of War Gamescast. I'm your host, EOF Gizmo, joined this week by massive Das Chris McGalley
Hello, everyone.
and Mr. Nintendo Network CW Lanky.
Hello.
So, boys, it's been another couple of weeks. Time flies when you're having so much fun. We're unbelievably on, I think we're on almost 2 years into version 2 of the Pod of War Gamescast, which is mental.
Woo!
What's
Well, it's
insane
got to be it because we're on the. Is this the third year of like Fantasy Critic we've done?
is
So
year
it's got
3
to
of
be.
Fantasy Critic, yep.
Yeah, we don't talk about Fantasy Critic.
Oh, we don't, right. And me and Pengy have been doing this since 2015, I think, was the first one we filmed.
Yeah, something like that.
I've put up with Chris Pengelly on a podcast for 8 years, Craig. Where is my medal?
Oh, you'll get it one day.
I hope the
Don't
super
worry.
fans have been through and worked out how much money Chris has spent in those 8 years. Because that's let's get 0 on that, because I think that could be quite a number, don't you think, Chris? How many houses do you reckon you could buy?
Quite a few.
Little mansion.
Probably buy like half of Puerto Rico or something.
Right, at least you could buy Hemiok at this point.
Mm.
But anyway, to one side, let's talk about what we've bought, what we've been playing this week. So we're going to do it in an unusual order, and we're going to start with me because mine is the most exciting.
Ooh.
So are we ready?
Yes.
So I'm going to tell a story, boys and girls. Story time with Dave. So my pickups the plan for my pickups was to be 3 items from Nintendo UK store. Okay? And those 3 items were Dr. Kawashima's brain training for £30. The Legend of Zelda Game & Watch clock thing for like 40, I think it's £50. And the N64 Nintendo Switch Online controller, which I believe was also £50, Pengy. Was it 50 or 40?
I believe it's 50.
50. So that's what I ordered. Okay. Craigie? £110. So it arrived. Well, it didn't arrive, actually. They told me they tried to deliver it and they couldn't, so we had to go to Co-op and pick it up. But I picked it up, brought it home. At the time, noting that it was a little bit heavier than I was anticipating, but, not so heavy that you'd be alarmed, Craigie. So we got home.
Were you worrying that you were getting weak? Were you like, shit, am I?
Well, like, it'd been a long day. You just don't know why. I don't know if it's been well packed. You never know, right? So we get home. I open this package, obviously with my partner, because she can verify that this is all true. And before I say this out loud, I have sent the boys my literal receipt of what I ordered, so they can verify what I ordered. Can you, boys?
Mm-hmm.
So I open the box. We go in. Dr. Kawashima's brain training. Lovely, that's there. Not available physical in North America. My girlfriend's already played like 3 hours of it. She loves it. Great. Perfect. Great purchase. The little clock thing there. Wicked. Comes with a free microfiber cloth. Didn't realise. Lovely. Happy days, Craig.
Does it? Mine's still sealed, so I can tell you that.
I have opened it. It's a very well used unit, and I will use it as my clock on my desk while I work. But we go to the N64 controller, Craig. So I'm thinking, this box is a little bit big for a controller. It's covered in Switch paraphernalia, but it's a Nintendo Switch Online exclusive box. I don't really know what to expect. I turn this little boy over, Craig, and what do I see? What I don't see is an N64 controller. What I see is a brand new Nintendo Switch OLED.
They're pretty similar. Both pretty big.
So somehow I've ordered a £50 controller and come away with it with a £300 games console. And I will emphasise, I did not order it. I have sent the boys my order. My partner was with me. She can verify that I did not order it. So yeah, that kind of changed the plans, to be honest with you. So I now have a Switch OLED. I sold my Switch. So now bear in mind that this is the one time, and Craig noted this in our chat. This is the one time I haven't broken, as well. Like I had a day one Switch. I didn't buy a.
It's probably the one time you should have broken as well.
Right. Well, like I didn't. I was just, to be honest with you, this is pulling the curtain back. I've always worried about Joy-Cons because I always been like, what's the point of me spending 280 quid on a console and then these Joy-Cons just to break? Like my Joy-Cons have never broken on that standard day one console. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna, I play it mostly on the TV anyway. But so I haven't. But yes, I now have an OLED. So I've sold my Switch. I sold it. I actually made a profit on all that purchase, which is quite funny. But yeah, so I have a Switch OLED. So before I talk about what I've been playing on it, my other pickups, I went into MT Games in town, which is obviously the only not the only. It's in the sort of shopping centre in the town we live, because Game has closed down, as me and Chris have mentioned on the podcast before. And I saw a ridiculous deal. I saw Dragon Quest XI on Switch for 19.99. Which is a game that I think you rarely see for under 50, really, Pengy. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah, it's kind of a rare one on the Switch. I think the PS4 version is much more.
Yes. Because
Yeah.
you can buy the standard edition as well, can't you, of the PS4 version?
Yeah.
And that's published by Square Enix, whereas the Switch version is published by Nintendo. That's what has the anime art on the front. So it's a little tip if you ever want to know what's been published by Nintendo, by Square Enix. It tends to have a really Japanese box art. But yeah, I picked that up because I saw it so cheap. And to be honest with you, it's a game I've been dying for an excuse to play for a long time, and playing it on Switch is, I think, it's probably the perfect way to play it in handheld. And then I think that is it for pickups. Yeah, because obviously Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training was part of the little bundle thing. And like I said, I have not touched it, but my girlfriend's quite enjoying it. So lovely stuff. As for what we've been playing, so I have not played anything on Xbox at all. I actually turned it on a little bit earlier and I had a massive update. So I've not touched the Xbox at all. On Switch, I've been playing quite a lot. So I said last week that I'd started Burnout Paradise. I have played a little bit more of Burnout Paradise. Still Burnout Paradise, still good. Obviously looks, I'll do my little OLED review at the end of this, I suppose. Playing that, I've been playing more Mario Kart, obviously. Mario Kart and Football Manager are the two constants in my life. And turkey sandwiches, obviously. What else have I been playing? Obviously, way more Mario and Rabbids Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which I'm still really enjoying. I am on World 4, Terraflora, halfway through that. I'm like 53% through the game, according to the percentage. I'm doing pretty much all of the side quests.
Well, how many worlds are there?
I think there's 6.
Right.
I think there's 6. That's what the map seems to be, and you have to do at least 2 major story beats in each of the worlds to progress to the new worlds, but there's still lots of missions to do within the worlds, because you get there's world specific currencies, and once you get all of them you get special sparks and stuff. I say it every time we come on this podcast, it is such a great game. It's so underrated and I do really recommend it. I've been playing quite a lot of that.
Have you seen the trailer for
I have
Rayman?
seen the Rayman trailer for Rayman and the Phantom show. I have got that season pass wishlisted. The second it goes on a sale, I will get it. It's obviously Ubisoft, so it will be at some point. I think it's 30 at the minute for all 3 pieces. If I can see that for 20, I'll get it. I'm not going to sell the game because I just like it too much. So yeah, looking out for that. And I love Rayman, so I'm looking forward to playing that. And the other stuff I've been playing is the Nintendo Switch Online stuff. I played quite a bit of Sonic 2 the other day on the Mega Drive NSO, which was really good. It's a really good version of the game. It's Sonic 2, right? It's a great game. And I actually started Fire Emblem, the GBA Fire Emblem, because I had a little bit of downtime.
Okay.
I just want to start it. I'm about an hour in. It does quite a good job of tutorializing, because I didn't really know what to expect from the GBA games, to be honest with you. The first one I played was Awakening, like everyone else. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. It holds up pretty well. The art style's really good. Obviously, the type of game it is perfect for a handheld. Hence, it was a GBA game, and also it's not graphically intensive, so it doesn't really look very bad. If that makes sense, it just works. It's just Fire Emblem. Obviously a really traditional Fire Emblem with permadeath and all that kind of stuff. But it's also a little bit of a cheat because obviously these games have rewind and save states. So I think it's probably the best version of that sort of Fire Emblem to play, because you can kind of get the get out of jail free cards you can get with the newer games. So I do if you like Fire Emblem, I do recommend playing that. It's on NSO GBA. So you pay for the subscription, right? We might as well play the games that are on there. So, but yeah, that has been the extent of my
I was a little
gaming.
surprised you said Fire Emblem, because I thought when you said NSO it would be either seasons or ages. It would have been what you've been
So
playing.
I do want to play the GBC and Zelda games, but I don't know. It's one of those. I think the problem and the not problem with the Zelda games, especially older ones, is you kind of need to sit there and read a bit of a guide on how to play the game, because obviously you don't have the manuals, and these games are very manual heavy. You don't really know what to do. But I will get to them at some point. Financially, I'm not in a wonderful place, so I'm kind of just going to be smashing the backlog. over the next month or so before Starfield, and if Starfield hits, I'll play that. If it doesn't hit for me, then I'll go back to playing the Switch stuff. But I have plenty of games to play. So, and there's some really good games on the NSO services now. So if you ever do get a quiet month, you don't want to
But
spend any
where
money.
is
But...
Golden Sun? That is the question.
Well, there's Golden Sun and there's Pokemon trading card game that I'd quite like to play, but obviously they're not out yet. And Golden Sun is like, it's only half a game, so you kind of need both of the Golden Sun games. I don't know if you played Golden Sun before, Chris.
Yeah, I only played the first one.
So the first one ends and is basically halfway through the game, and then the second one starts the second after the first one ends. So we
I've
kind of
never played the second one.
yeah. So it's when both come up, it's probably worth playing if they've held
Yeah.
up. But yes, that's what I've been playing. My little ramble. So Mr. Craig Warren, you sexy bastard. Oh, also sorry before I go to Craig, the OLED is the sexiest piece of hardware in the world. You were all right. The screen is ridiculous. Like what the hell? Like how sexy
Yeah, it's
is
a
it?
pretty boy, isn't it?
And I'm playing it with my little Hori split minis on the side instead of the Joy-Cons. Oh, it's a wonderful way to live. It really is the best way. It's got an Ethernet port in the dock, which means Mario Kart's actually ridiculously good online. Oh, it's just, yeah, it's great shit. But Craigo, what have you been buying? What have you been playing? Let's go.
On the Xbox, I finished When the Past Was Around, which I think I started last week.
How much
Yeah.
indie fodder was it, Craig?
Oh, it's indie fodder, Dave. Don't you worry.
Oh,
It
God.
is as point and click as comes.
Did you get your 1000G? Because I know you were having problems with some barrels or something.
No, so I did get the 1000G. I was actually wrong.
Right.
I was actually wrong, Pengles. I thought I'd been mugged off. I hadn't. You actually got to smash all the plant pots in the game, not just in that one chapter.
Okay.
So I carried on smashing my plant pots, and I did get my 1000G.
And
That's
that's
good,
got
then.
you sat on 191,686 G's, Craigo.
Yeah, and that is completion number 55 as well.
Oh,
So
you handsome boy.
yeah, it keeps on going. So I think I've done like 3 in the last like few weeks.
You have been a bit of an animal.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like 2 of them were like hour-long point and click. It's very easy ones, and then Dorgon was probably about 5 hours. So another completion. Would just play it for the completion. There's not much more to it, in all honesty. It's not horrendous, but it's very unremarkable, I'd say. And then my only pickup, I don't think I actually bought this last time, was Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I bought off eBay, I think for £38 or something like that.
That's a pretty good deal.
Including postage. It did get chewed up by the dog in the post a little bit, I'll be honest. Yeah, the dog did. There's a hole or two in the case now.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. She
So
doesn't like post.
So what have you learned there? Switch games are stronger than Xbox games from dog chewing.
Yeah, I guess they're smaller, so there's less surface area. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why you didn't just get it delivered here, Craigo, because I could have walked it. I could have just walked it to your house.
I mean, there's precautions that we can do to avoid dog chewing, but I did want quite expect it to come as fast as it did. So
no.
It did get it's got a hole or two, but it's fine. Actual game's brilliant so far. I'm on the second level, I want to say. Done the first one in Coruscant, and then you go into a bit more of like a wilderness level, which is quite linear at first. Now it seems to have like opened up a bit in the area I'm in. I've got to meet one of the characters from the first game. Performance-wise, the first level I was like, "Oh, this is absolutely fine," and now in the second level, I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's chugging a bit." I think it's because it's like much more wide open space. I think it is struggling a little bit there, but the actual game is just seems to be brilliant. Again, one of the things they've added is they've had like new stances now. So I believe in the first game you had your normal sword, and then you had the double sword, right? The Darth Maul sort of thing. Whereas now there's more options. So I think the only one I've got unlocked at the moment is you can dual wield. So instead of having a double sword, you have 2 swords, which is really fun. I believe you just keep on unlocking more and more, and then you can kind of level them up. You can unlock new abilities of each stance, which is quite a cool character they've added. They all seem to like offer different things. So some might be a bit more defensive, some are more like just speed. I think some are more for like crowd control, whereas others might be better against just like bosses. And then you have kind of like your normal like jack of all trades one as well. So it's a really cool mechanic they've seemed to add. I'm looking forward to getting more. So I've only unlocked the one so far. And I have the two that you start with. So I'm looking forward to see like what else they do with that. Because it's quite a cool little option they've added, and then you can obviously level them up, and I'm guessing some of them will probably get quite OP as well as you go through. It is just the cool thing as well, where it doesn't like you have all your abilities in the first game from the start. It doesn't do the video game thing where it's like, you've forgotten everything. Here's how to double jump again. Like it's like no, you have everything. Like which is cool, which is good. And then, like I said, they've added the stances, which is a cool feature as well. So yeah, I'll keep on playing that. I did have a classic, like it was just kind of like a Soulsy game, and I did have a moment where I was like, oh god, I like went ages without saving earlier, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that again. That's just madness. But I kind of forgot that it remembers your shortcuts that you've opened, so I literally just ran like across 2 shortcuts on the map, and I was like, oh, I'm back to where I was. That's fine. So it is kind of like your Souls like, but it's kind of like I get it, like your baby's first Souls like, I guess. For the the mere mortals like us three who would just fail miserably at an Elden Ring or something
The
like that.
people that have
good.
no patience at all.
Exactly. As soon as I died at that moment, I was like, oh, that was like, I don't want to like do that again. And then I realized that I could just like sprint there through the shortcuts. So, oh, thank fucking god.
All right.
So yeah, I keep going back
Sure,
on the
the
Xbox.
shortcuts stay in Souls games as well, but maybe if you haven't gone to a bonfire, they don't. I'm not 100% sure on that.
They do stay open, I believe. From my very
I didn't
brief
hear
existence.
any of that, Dave.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I do believe they do. From my very
I
very
was going to
limited
say, from what I've
experience
played
of
of Souls
Bloodborne.
games, when you do open like stuff like drop a ladder and you die, that ladder is still dropped and stuff. But I was thinking maybe if you've not done a bonfire, then they don't stay.
Well, they're definitely doing this, which is good.
Yeah.
It's very good. And then on the Switch, I've just obviously more Mario 3D World. I think I'm in the 7th world now.
Ooh.
I'm in the world where it doesn't give you a number anymore. It just gives you a castle.
Have you already had credits?
No.
Okay.
I think this is it, and then they have credits, and then it's
the actual the hard game.
Yeah, that's
up.
the hard game.
Yeah.
And you still got Bowser Fury.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm. I guess I'm in the last of the normal worlds.
Yes.
And then it opens up more from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes, boys.
Mm-hmm.
See how
are you finding it?
I mean, I like it. I actually think it's I actually think like the Kirby 3D world game I played, Forgotten Land, was probably a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it so far, definitely.
I think that will tell me that you'll love Odyssey.
Yeah. I guess Odyssey is probably a bit more modern as well, a bit more.
Yeah, because that was
built
obviously
for
a
the Switch.
2013 Wii U game. I think you might really like Bowser's Fury. It'd be really interesting to hear what you think of that, because obviously that's the modern bit they've added on.
Yeah.
It's just like proper like run around 3D.
Yeah, it's kind of a halfway house, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, I'm glad to see you back on the Switch, Gregor. When are we getting our Mario Kart tournament on the go as well, by the way? Because I'm dying to throw down at this point.
I have to get some training going. Gonna get a Rocky training montage. Some Eye of the Tiger.
I mean, you don't. It's Mario Kart. It's all bullshit, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, I did get fairly. I wouldn't say good at it, but like okay. Like I wasn't just bashing off the sides like non-stop when I first got the Switch. But I haven't played it in a while, so I need to bust out the old Pro controller, because that sits there unused because I play my Switch like exclusively handheld. All right, give me an excuse to use that and play some Mario Kart.
I play Mario Kart a lot in handheld. With my
I think I did a little bit.
My Split Pros, and that works pretty well. It's not a massive game that requires like a lot of different buttons, but yeah, gotta love that Switch action, Craigo.
Yeah. No, that's it for me.
Nice. Well, let's get to the main event then. Obviously, Chris Pengelly.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Whenever
deep in backlog season as well
yeah,
now,
we should
Dave.
be.
So
We should be. We should be
we
hearing
can
about Harvestella.
Harvestella, Tactics Ogre
Yeah,
Reborn,
Bravely
Star
Default 2.
Ocean,
All kinds.
Digimon. I guess we'll
Yeah,
be
Digimon
hearing
Survive,
about
right? I believe he
Near
bought that.
Automata. Maybe he's
Mhm.
finally got to. He won't have bought anything, obviously, because this is backlog season. So we're
Yes,
gonna be
obviously.
smashing through all the games that we previously bought. Pengy, tell us about backlog season.
So backlog season, right? So with PlayStation, I have bought nothing
That's good. It's a good start.
and played nothing on PlayStation.
Oh,
Even
okay,
better.
not so strong, but right. Moving on.
On Xbox, I have bought nothing and played a little bit of Star Wars as well. I'm on the 3rd planet of that. I'm finding the game just to be fine. From what is compelling me to still play the game is because it's a Star Wars game, and obviously all the Star Wars lore and stuff. And Ahsoka is soon, so I'm gonna want like Star Wars stuff, and it's that sort of thing. What you're talking about performance, you haven't got it, but you can later on you get a mount. So running around in the town on the mount, the frame rate totally tanks. Then I think the two open. The linear bit at the start was perfectly fine.
I have nothing to add. I don't know if Craig can hear you, or
Yeah.
I can assume no.
No, sorry, I can hear him now. Yeah, no, I had the linear part, like I said, was absolutely fine for me.
Yeah,
But
that was fine. And
it is as
most
soon
of
as it's opened up into
Yeah.
this little open
Well, that
worldy
was
bit, it's
fine
struggling.
for the most part, but then as soon as I got the mountain, I was running around on the mountain, going a bit faster. It was like totally tanked the frame rate and sort of thing. And I have got to the 3rd planet now. Haven't done anything on the 3rd planet, but that's where I left. Yeah, I'm guessing you're going to get like a new stance on the next planet or something. I know that you got like the Kylo Ren cross guard saber is one of the sabers you can get. So don't know if you get that in the next planet or whatnot. So a little bit of that. The other thing I played on Xbox when it launched day one on Game Pass was Vember, which is like a visual novel game, but with like a cooking mini game mixed in. So I know you've played Coffee Talk, Craig. I know you haven't, Dave, because
Absolutely not.
it's in.
Dave would hate every moment of Coffee Talk.
It's a bit like that. It's not as long as Coffee Talk. It only took an hour and a half to play, but you get all the visual novel bits and stuff like that. And then the character you're actually playing is Vember mostly, sort of thing. And then she'll make cook a meal, and then you got to put all the ingredients together to make your curry or whatever you're making, sort of thing. And then obviously the story continues. Like I said, it's only an hour and a half. It's quite nice. The music's quite good and stuff like that. Obviously the devs are Indians living in Canada, so there's most probably is a good representation of like that sort of thing. I played it and unlocked like 660 Gs. It does look like easy 1000 Gs for you, Craig. If you want to do that, or an
Can
easy
confirm. I've already looked. It is by the sound of it, and I think
Yeah.
Maka already has a guide.
I
so-
missed an achievement going through, and I was like, I know there is a chapter for thing, but it's like I think it's at the end of a chapter thing, so I'd have to like replay a whole chapter to get that. And it's an easy platinum if you're playing it on PlayStation. Weirdly, it mostly be best on Switch. Like when I play Coffee Talk 2, being a visual novel, playing it on handheld. Obviously that's got no achievement trophy system, and then being again, if you're playing on Switch, you would only manage to play it once, and I'm not sure it would be worth I think it's like 13, 14 quid on Switch, or it's like £12 on PlayStation. It's a couple quid more on Switch.
Yeah, it's £10.61 on Xbox at the
Yeah,
moment,
which
but
is
its
actually the
normal
weirdly-
price is £12.49.
Yeah, but I think the normal price on Switch is like 14 quid.
It's funny to think, by the way, that like pre-Game Pass, you'd probably look at that and be like, that's not that bad.
Yeah,
But
it's
now
not
because
that
of Game
bad,
Pass, I'm like, there's no way I'd spend £10 on a fucking indie game that's less than 10 hours long.
Well, that's also the thing. Like, it's quite like I enjoyed it a lot from when I played it, that thing. But I'm thinking, let's use the Switch as the example. You pay 14 quid for that or whatever on Switch, an hour and a half. You could pay 18 quid, so it's 4 quid more, for Oxenfree 2, which is like 6 hours long.
Right, or you could buy like what's Bolt Gun now, like 15 for like a licensed IP, or you could go on Amazon and spend that 15 quid on. I don't know,
I was just trying
SpongeBob
to think.
SquarePants. It's just an interesting thought about like the cost of games, I guess, right?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of another recent indie game that I've, it's a new title has just come out. Well, Oxenfree only came out like a week ago, so that's where my comparison sort of came with that. Plus, like you said, sales and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty good. So that's Xbox. So a bit of Star Wars and a bit of Game Pass indie. Oh no, actually, I lied. I played more Crash Team Rumble.
You did those videos are on the channel. I haven't watched them, Chris, because I haven't been home. Did you talk in them, or is it just gameplay?
No, because I was just seeing if I could get Twitch to work.
Chris, you need to get some commentary on the go. We need to hear you talk us through your plays of the game.
I want to hear him shit talking the opposition, David. I don't know about you.
Right, you stupid little American pricks.
I don't think
I
don't think I've ever seen anyone actually use a mic or anything talk on that game.
Wow,
so.
game's gone soft.
Yeah, game's gone soft. Yeah, but I did have a couple of top performers in my thing. But if you watch all of it, there were some awful games in there, so you can see that it wasn't just that one highlight. I think I'm now level 11 with Torna, and it's level 15 you need for the achievement, which I will get my 30G for that.
I'm loving your dedication to Crash Team Rumble. Thank you.
Really they put me over the 900 G as well in that game, so that's
how exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So that's also on Xbox. And then on Switch, I played my one pickup this week on Switch.
In backlog
You did play the backlog?
No. Oh, Star Wars is in the backlog.
You bought that
I mean, to be honest,
weeks. Exactly. That's not a backlog.
Also, backlog is not the games that came out this year, Chris Bengali.
Yeah, but I felt like I have games like Forspoken I bought in January and only played like a month ago, didn't I? Yeah, so I played my one pickup on Switch, all handheld as well. So
it's the new Bengals.
Something, and that is Disney Illusion Island.
Okay. And talk us through Disney Illusion Island, then, Chris.
Yeah, it's like if Star Wars is my first Souls-like, then Disney Illusion Island is my first Metroidvania. Because that's exactly what it is. You get a new ability. So, like, I just got swimming, so Donald Duck can now swim, sort of thing. So you can go back to certain areas and go through the bits that were covered in water and that sort of thing. There's no combat in the game whatsoever, because obviously it is aimed at children. It has 4-player co-op and stuff like that, I guess, for parents to help kids or something. And like even with health, when you select your character, you can put like no damage whatsoever, because there is enemies in the game. Or you can give yourself like 10 hearts if you want and stuff like that. I just stick to the default 2. But I actually got 3 hearts because I unlocked another heart during the game. So I've been playing that. It looks really nice and stuff. I'm playing on the Switch OLED, so that 2D art is really cool. It's got some actually quite funny jokes and stuff like that, and references to like Mickey Mouse's adventures and things like that. It does have boss fights, but because obviously there's no combat, it's got like platforming elements and stuff, using like your new like abilities. Like one boss, I only unlocked the swing sort of thing, like the grapple hook thing, and then I unlock that, so then that's like that boss uses that mechanic sort of thing to defeat them. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's one boss coming up but you somehow use swimming and stuff your thing. I feel I must be nearly finished though, because I think I'm about 5 hours in the game, and I think it's only about 6 hours long. So, but very good so far.
Good, Pengy. Have you bought anything else? Anything retro? Anything random?
Kind of.
So yes, not kind of. If you bought something, Chris, that's yes, isn't it? It's a very yes or no question. Have you bought something?
It's a kind of question.
Right.
Okay. Because this week was an Evercade Showcase, Volume 2, the Indie Special. Right?
Okay.
They announced 4 new cartridges, yeah? So 2 coming in October, 2 coming in November or December. No, I think 2 coming in December because November's Duke Nukem. So you got
Hail to the king.
So you got the October ones and stuff like that, and they went on for pre-order on the 1st of August, right? So I pre-ordered both of them, the 2 October ones, and I hadn't pre-ordered the September ones, so I pre-ordered the September ones as well. So I have paid for all 4 of those carts, but they will not actually arrive until the end of October. So when the 2 new ones, because I've got them all coming in one bundle. So the September ones, I won't actually get to October. So
How much money did you fork over for these carts that you won't play, Pengos?
That would be 75 quid.
It's a lot of money for something you're not going to do, isn't it, You're using it, Pengos.
Well, so why I brought it up?
Have you played any of the carts that you already owned, like for more than just like 10 minutes, like just your?
I've played bits and pieces of it.
Oh no, bits and pieces is 10 minutes.
So
no.
why I bring them up now and not in October when they actually physically come to me? Because I've paid for them now, and when we get to October, and you'll be like, Pengles, what's your pickups? And I'll be like, oh, it's Spider-Man, Super Mario, 4 Evercade carts, and I've been on holiday this week, so I've also now bought 2 Vita games. And you're like, Pengles, why have you bought 8 games? I'm like, well, I actually paid for. So I'm bringing up the 4 I've paid for now. So when we get to October and I have those 8 games, it doesn't seem as mental.
Why do you sound like Chelsea trying to justify financial fair play, Pengles?
Yeah, that's it. It just sounds dodgy,
Right,
doesn't it? I mean, there's no part of you think, well, if they're going to arrive in October and I've already got all these other games I want to buy in October, maybe I shouldn't buy them because I'm not going to play them because I'm going to play the other games.
I've paid up for them now, see, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, but they're going to turn up in October. This is the point I'm saying. Like, so
are you trying to argue with Christopher Pengelly? There's no need to buy something because I think you might be. I mean, again, as I mentioned earlier, 8 years I've been doing this podcast with Chris. 8 years he has turned around to me and said, "Well, you know, I really needed a pink Vita that I'm never going to play because I love pink."
I still have my black and pink Vita.
There we go. See, I remember.
I just want him to play the Evercade, Dave. I just want him to actually play
anything. To be honest, at this point,
stop talking about the cartridges and play some games.
What we want is a full playthrough of Duke Nukem 3D.
They've not been up for pre-order yet. So yeah, you can and obviously the December games aren't up for pre-order either. So November's and December's aren't up for pre-order, which is Duke Nukem, and then the 2 new indie carts which are announced. But Craig, one of the carts I have ordered that comes in October is a special edition, which is only having a limited amount of made. So that's another reason why I pre-ordered it, obviously now.
I'm sure Craig cares greatly about that.
Yeah, so I was expecting him to say, "All right, I've pre-ordered this because it's got this game on it, and I really want to play this game." Instead, I just got some special edition.
Oh no, but that game is Full Void, which does look actually quite interesting, and it only actually just come out on Steam, and this is going to be the first physical release on another system outside PC as well.
So to sum up,
hope we might play Full Void.
So to sum up backlog season then, Pengy, you played a new game on Game Pass, which has just come out, and you bought a game on Switch, which you are now playing. And then you've pre-ordered 4 more games.
Yes,
so now, quote me, stop me if I'm wrong, Craig. I believe backlog means a game from your current collection you're yet to play or finish. For example,
you would think so, wouldn't you?
For example, all of the Switch games that we bring up constantly.
For backlog, and it's an accumulation of uncompleted work or matters needing to be dealt with. I wouldn't say that's what Chris Pengelly's done right now. I'd say he's,
The fact that Craig knew that your bullshit was going to happen, that he looked up the dictionary definition of backlog to say it verbatim on the podcast, Chris, kind of sums up Chris
Disney
Pengelly,
Illusion Island. Like, I was on the fence, and then I watched Tim's review of it on Kind of Funny. I was like, yeah, I'm actually going to get.
That's not a justification for you doing the complete opposite to what you said last week, Chris, is it? But
So when does backlog season end?
when does it
Pengles?
start? When's backlog season start? Let alone it end?
There's got to be an end date in mind, doesn't there? When are we thinking the end date is? I'm just looking at the
August
calendar
7th. That's when it ends. That's when he's going to start buying games again.
now.
No, see, backlog season in my mind was
Yeah.
going to
In
finish with.
in your mind? Oh, you're going to give me an aneurysm one day, Pengy. You really are.
So when did it start, Chris?
When did it start?
Yeah.
It started after Final Fantasy 16.
Right, Pengy, there is 25 days left of August. Commit to us one fucking game in your backlog you're actually going to finish. Just one.
Star Wars.
That's not.
That's not a backlog. Okay, that didn't come out in 2023.
Ooh. Oh, I'm not sure.
You don't have to look up the shortest game that's ever come out. There's got to be games sat on your shelf that you've not played or finished.
Oh, there's lots.
I know
That you
there's
want
lots,
to
Chris.
play in backlog season. There's got to be some games for God's sake.
When did I don't know. Top of my head.
Oh, Chris Penguin. Right, anyway, is that it, Chris?
I'm cancelling backlog season. I've cancelled it.
Right,
Mate.
it's
It's
gonna-
over.
I think-
It's done.
Backlog season's only going to happen when me and you initiate, I think, Craig, at this point.
Oh, no. And it was going to finish like 1st of September. when
You haven't even
Starfield
started
came out.
Mario and Rabbids. I know you bought that 3 episodes ago.
Mhm.
Chris Penguin.
See, that's
Anyway,
part of the backlog.
moving swiftly on to the topic of the show. Tots. Only 36 minutes in so far. Chris Penguin. So we had a little chat in our group chat. We've got some larger episode plans, but there is not enough time in the day to fit in Chris Pengelly's justification for buying video games, as well as a sort of tapered episode about something. So we're going to do a little quick chat about the Switch 2, which of course has been heavily rumoured in this last month to be coming at the end of 2024, and what we want, not what's coming, not what we think they'll do, just what we would like them to do in a relatively realistic way. And I suppose we can chuck in that any kind of wants or needs from the other ones. So starting with you, Craigo, as you've been using that Switch of yours recently, what would you like the Switch 2 to be?
I mean, it has to be a hybrid again, obviously. And for me, it kind of has to have backwards compatibility, right, boys?
Yeah, that was the big one for me.
Because for me, as someone who's not really played a lot of Switch, I'm sure we could list dozens of, games that probably great that I've never touched on the Switch. For me, it needs to have the ability that I can play some more Switch games on it, because we all know console launches tend to be rocky things, and we know that there will probably be like one big game, and that might be it. Who knows? So if that's not the biggest or the longest game, and I were to buy it, and that was my my one big game, having still having the Switch library that I could go back to and buy and play on this would be a massive benefit for me, I think. So I think that would be one like that I would want almost as a lock, is backwards compatibility. Other than that, it needs to have like the similar screen, or probably maybe even better would be great, I guess. And it needs. I would really want it to have better Joy-Cons as well, or something, a better alternative to Joy-Cons, because obviously this time we had to. I think we've all bought the Switch Pro Hori things, right?
Mhm.
So having to buy something in order to make the more usable in handheld, I guess, is a bit of a disadvantage. So if they could remove us needing to buy a third party accessory just to play the thing handheld would be great, really.
Yes, I kind of agree with you. I think for me the biggest problem they've done is that the Switch has been so successful in its sort of what it is, that they've kind of written themselves into a corner, because it has to be hybrid. Like there's no way they can release a handheld and a home console again. It has to be that you can do both, right? They kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
It has to be backwards compatible,
Mhm.
which the Switch Lite is. So even if they took the Joy-Cons away, it's going to have the same buttons as a Switch Lite, so it would just be the same as like you can't play, I don't know, fucking Super Mario Party or Fitbit Adventure, right? But you can use it. But yeah, it's it's difficult because what do they do? Like, I don't really know what gimmick they can do that's gonna make the average person go, you know what, I need to upgrade to a Switch 2, because if you're a mother or a father or whatever, like you've just bought your kid a Switch, like say 3 years ago, you're not going to be like, oh, this one's more powerful. Like, you just don't care. Like, does it still play the games? Yes. Okay. Well, this is the Switch then. You know what I mean? Like, kind of the problem they had with the 3DS when after the DS, like the DS is basically just a more powerful 3D DS, right? That's what a 3DS is. They added the gimmick of 3D that no one cared about, and then they had to drop the price. So that was my main worry for the Switch. I'm in like a really interesting place because I've just got this OLED for free. Um, like I mean, I'm not really, obviously. I know what you're going to say, Craig, the second this leaves my mouth. But like, I'm going to have to double think about whether I want one on launch if it's just a more powerful Switch, because
It's just if you get one on the Friday or the Saturday.
like, you know what I mean? Like, it's still just one of those where I'm like, like hypothetically, right? So like, I'm like, well, I've just bought the Switch. Like, what's different? Like, what can they do? Is it going to have a worse screen? Because all the rumors are like that it's no OLED. Like, because all I
Mm.
want is a Steam Deck,
That I was
but
gonna
as a
say
Switch. That's all I
that's
want.
like a question. What do you think about going back to an LCD? It's apparently 900p LCD screen, so it's
Which is
up
literally a
from
Steam Deck, right?
yeah. Well, Steam Deck's not 900.
Is it?
It's
Is it
820 or
800s?
something?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not.
something like that.
Yeah. So it'd be higher resolution than Steam Deck, sort of thing. But what do you feel about going to 8-inch LCD screen from an OLED
I guess if it, I mean,
backwards, sort
I
of in tech?
yeah, I
But
mean,
bigger.
if it looks better, I don't really care about numbers. You know, if it just looks prettier, that's fine.
Mm.
Or if even if it looks like it needs to not look worse, definitely.
It's tough
Because
though,
that
because
would be
Nintendo's games always
difficult.
look good, don't they? So that's
Mm.
kind of the problem when you know, like, so like most people are like, oh, well, I just want it to be a more powerful Switch. But have any of us, other than probably Zelda, have any of us actually played a Nintendo game and gone, oh my god, this runs badly, or looks
Yeah, it's called
ugly?
Pokemon Scarlet and
Yeah, I
Violet.
mean, but then Pokemon are bad, right? Like, they're just bad
Legends
developers, it
Arceus
seems.
looks awful as well. That's
Yeah, but it's
yeah.
still like, you know, I guess that's true, but it's like I've not played, like, you played Dread, you played Kirby, you're playing Mario now. Like, does it look like it needs more power? Do you really think you're going to notice? Like,
Not
to be
really.
the devil on everyone's shoulder?
Yeah,
Like, because
but
people are
I
always
feel
like,
like
oh,
they
like
can do more
Skyrim.
with that though. Surely,
Oh, of
you
course
know
they
what I mean?
can. Yeah, I'm literally just playing devil's advocate for like the average consumer, because that's my only worry. My only worry is the Switch 2 is like, what, like, can it be a new Switch, or can it just be a whole new system, you know? Like, is it going to be like the new 3DS? Like, you
Do
remember?
you think they would house it though? And if it is backwards compatible, let's say, but do you think they would make the new games like forwards compatible? So do you reckon, you know, let's say they launch with a Mario, do you think that Mario would also launch on the old Switch?
Yes.
Yes, but I think it would go for. I think they would do cross-gen for a while, like Xbox and PlayStation has done, and then
Because they did
it.
that last time, didn't they? With like
With Breath of the Wild was on
Breath of the
both.
Wild, yeah.
So for the launch title, if it was originally made for the Switch, then yes. If it was from the ground up made for this new platform, then no. But it depends what it is. Like, I feel like an example would be Mario Kart 9
Would sell Switch 2s.
would be a Switch 2 exclusive, because they've done enough Mario Kart content to not be worried. Whereas like Metroid Prime 4, for example, which it'd be stupid to launch for that, will be on both if they've been making it for Switch. That's usually like Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game,
Mm.
and then at the last minute they ported it to Switch. Like Twilight Princess was a GameCube game, and then the last minute they ported it to the Wii. So that tends to be what they do. But again, Nintendo is so much more unique than the other two that I just don't know. Like, the only instance I can think of, you might be able to correct me, Penguin, because you know more than I do, but like Pokemon Black and White was a DS game that came out on the 3DS launch and had a fucking huge sticker on the front that said playable on 3DS.
Yeah, I was gonna say that came out like after the, but then I guess because the DS is in library, install base was like 150
Which is
million,
what?
wasn't it?
What's the Switch? 129?
Yeah.
So it's a very similar situation, right? And Game Boy did the same, whereas Game Boy Color was technically a new console and had its own games. But the big games, like Pokemon Crystal, I think, or like Pokemon, definitely Pokemon Gold and Silver, worked on both.
Yeah, they worked on both. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's really confusing. Like, I think they have to rely on They have to rely on Chris Pengelly day one to order it with 5 games. But it's
Will
yeah,
they
it's a
even
curious
have
one.
5 games at launch?
Yeah, they'll
Hello,
have 5 games.
Switch.
It'll be Mario Odyssey 2 will be a launch title, and they'll
Square
have
will have some launch games for it, won't it? Square
Ubisoft will put
pump
something
some
on it.
stuff out.
Just
some-
Dance will be on it, Craig. Don't you worry. Just Dance
Yeah.
2025.
Maybe a Diafield Chronicle or something like that. Do you know what I mean? For it, I would have thought.
Zombie U2. Zombie U2 HD.
In terms of like, what about like price point? Where do you think it would land, and what would be too much for you guys? If it was $450, would that be too much?
Way too much for me.
Yeah, way too much.
Really?
That's the same price as the Series X.
400? Would that be too much?
I think depending on the memory.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think it will be 3.
Because what's an OLED? Is it still 309?
It's nothing if you're me, Craig. But yeah, I think it is 309. I think it would have to be 34999.
Yeah, 350 would make the most sense, wouldn't it?
And that would be in 2024 with inflation putting the cost of everything else up. You can't bring a console like that out and it'd be cost more than the Steam Deck or cost more than a PS5 probably. Because people will just go, well, I'm not spending that on a handheld game, or even if it, you know what I mean. Like people like this Nintendo, people see it as lesser. That's why the games are all cheaper. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I do think I'm kind of glad they're not rushing, because I really don't think they need to. Like the Switch is still selling so well that it's like, well, we can kind of have a bit of a soft launch next year. I mean, people are going to be excited, aren't they? Let's be honest. Like we're going to get a PS5 Pro next year. We're going to get another series console next year. Like people will be in the mood for new content. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I suppose the extra question is what are you thinking about the other 2 consoles? Because we're in a really weird generation this time where it's all kind of just like a PC at this point. Like it's just like the upgrades, like all the games work on everything. Like, do you think that that's going to influence much? Like, would you buy a Series X2, Craigo, for example?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd sell the Series X and I'd buy the upgrade. 100%. I would.
What would you want it to do? Would you just want
Unless
it to
it
be more
was
powerful,
like,
or
unless it was stupid money, like if they were like, all right, this is £600, I'd be like,
the
ooh.
only thing is, it kind of would be like, wouldn't it? If the Series X is 450 at the moment, and if like it's gonna have to be, well, you got to think at least 100 quid more.
Yeah. So I don't know. That would maybe be the blocker of it. But yeah, I would buy it, and I would expect like the One X was last time, just like I guess a bigger leap forward in terms of what it can do. Because we still do have this like situation that we have games where I think we were all kind of expecting this gen that we wouldn't have the choice of performance and graphics mode, that we would get both. And obviously we still don't have that on most games, to be honest. Most games you have to make that choice.
it's like I can see my PS5 box from here and it says 8K on the side, and it's like, that's laughable, isn't it? Like, that's a laughable thing to put on the side. Like you can't even do 4K 60 a lot of the times.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that would be what I'd want if they did a mid-gen refresh, was that it kind of takes that away, like the One X did last gen.
Well, that sort of introduced it, though, didn't it? Having the One X and with the other, well, here's your choices, sort of thing. But yeah, having just the default sort of thing, like Final Fantasy 16, I played in the 30 frames mode because the 60 frame mode apparently is all over the place. Sort of thing. So cool, I got 4K, but at 30 frames. Well, can I have it in 4K 60 frames? That would be great.
They could just make that game good, though. That would be my preferred.
It is very good.
Yeah,
I guess it's whether we want to pay the how much money would it take for them to make a console that could do that, and then would we actually, we say we want that, but do we actually want that? Would that cost £600? That's the thing,
Yeah.
Mm.
For me, I don't
And
think
then,
there's any way
develop
I'd
something.
buy a new Xbox or a new PlayStation right now. There is any world in which I just don't play them enough. to justify. Like I don't have a 4K screen either, so like what would be the point?
No, yeah, that's that you should definitely do that before buying.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So like,
100%, yeah.
and realistically, like I can't. I mean, I'm not going to be moving out of where I live now for 18 months at least. So there's not enough room in here for me to buy a 50-inch 4K screen to put on the wall. So at that point, you know, like, is there much point? And for Switch, like, Switch is always going to have multiplayer. It's always going to have Mario Party and Mario Kart and all of the good shit. Like I said, this whole podcast, my girlfriend's just been sat here playing Kawashima's Brain Training on it. Like, there's not that option on the Xbox right now. So it's yeah.
Do you reckon, Pengu, you are going to buy this PlayStation handheld device thing that they've
It
talked
all
about?
depends how much the
I think it's so price
project
dependent,
is.
isn't it? It's the most price dependent product I think I've ever seen because it's dead on arrival for more than 250.
Because a DualSense is 70 quid on its own, so it's a DualSense with a screen on it, and then it's like a pretty decent LCD screen. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if this screen is comparable to what the Switch 2 screen is going to be, because I think this is about 8 inches an LCD screen. So, like, how much is that screen? And it's a touch screen as well from the leaked videos and stuff like that. So it's like, a 70 quid controller plus whatever how much that screen is. You know, it's got to be what, 100 quid for the screen, most probably.
With a Wi-Fi built in, but nothing else.
So you're looking, 170. They're gonna make some money, so that's nearly 200 quid. So that's quite a lot of money for.
I think it has to be
remote play.
$19.99 with some kind of bundled in code for something, whether it's plus premium or it's a game. Like I just don't think it can be 200 plus and just be the box. But then the Elite controller, what's it called, Chris?
The Edge.
The PlayStation Edge is $229.99. So,
which was so far as the best-selling accessory in North America this year.
That's mental.
Yeah.
Considering
so
how bad the battery life is on it, that's mental.
Yeah, it's so the top 4 things are all PlayStation controllers, but yeah, that's the top one. So
yeah, that is interesting.
And that's 200 and something quid. So maybe the queue will be fine. I don't know.
It'll sell fine. I can't believe that the PlayStation stuff sells as well as it does. Like I couldn't believe it that they're on 40 million for the PS5. Because I really don't think it's been very good at all in terms of what's come out on it.
Oh, it passed 50 million, no problem. With the recent sale and Spider-Man, that be quite quick. I wouldn't be surprised if it passes 50.
Yeah. I don't think Craig will be one of those though, so that's okay.
No, because I think they just had their best but I say Q1 first half a year, first time in 15 years or something.
Which is kind of mental considering what they put out Forspoken and Final Fantasy 16.
So imagine the second half with a price cut of
an
Spider-Man,
actual video game,
and maybe a Slim.
Yeah, the Slim would. PlayStation.
So if they've had their best first half in 15 years, so I can see the second half being pretty good as well for them.
Lovely. Well, I think that roughly sums up our little brief chat about the future. But yes, please.
Do you think there's a world that do you think there's a world where actually neither of you do buy the new Switch?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything Nintendo could do which would make Penguins not buy it realistically.
I guess if it launched which is not going to Tears Breath of the Wild free, and that's
you'd still buy it. You'd still buy that. You'd buy it. You'd buy all the amiibos. You get the limited edition. Let's not pretend you wouldn't.
But that would be it, I guess. Really, if the launch was really bad, but
mine would be purely circumstantial. So if for example, so that's supposed to be next Christmas, right? 2024. So if next Christmas, hypothetically, me and my partner are either buying a house or we're deciding we want to move abroad, then I probably wouldn't be able to justify dropping £450 on a game console with new games straight away. But equally, because it's if it were a handheld and I've sold everything else and it's just I'm just going abroad, and the only thing I'm taking with me is the new Switch, her Switch Lite, and that's it. then maybe. But again, I think there's too many questions right now to say. If they just basically do the Game Boy Color and it's just a more powerful Switch, and the launch title isn't Mario Kart, then there could be a thing where I don't buy it straight away. There could be a thing where I buy it in 2025. Will I go a full year without buying it? Absolutely not. Like, I'm not going to lie to you all. But
Yeah.
there could be a way where I don't buy it day one. Put it that way. Like, there's, like the shit's hard to get. It's stressful to pre-order stuff. Like, if anything, from the last set of pre-orders we had,
Well,
is
that's the
set to go
rumored
by.
why it's coming late 2024, not early 2024, so they can make enough.
Well, it will sell like straight. A new Nintendo console will sell like crazy. Like, you're telling me if it doesn't even have to have a particularly good game, and it will sell 10 million. There's 10 million hardcore Nintendo fans that will buy that thing in the first 6 months. So it's like they make 10 million, they'll sell
everyone
10
that
million.
bought a Wii U.
Well, I mean, yeah, we all bought a Wii U within the first year, and then no one bought a Wii U. So it's like, so it will get bought. But yeah, the biggest one for me is if they turn around and go, here's the new Mario Kart, and it's only on this console. That would be the thing that would break me, because I love that shit, as you know. But Smash Bros wouldn't be fast. Mario Odyssey 2, like, I could probably wait. I didn't love the first one, so it's like it's not gonna be another Zelda because they've just done Tears of the Kingdom. So,
Prime
whatever.
4 is possible.
Prime 4 is possible, but Prime is not a big enough franchise. Even Dread only sold what, like 3 million, 10 million, something. It wasn't like it was their best selling one. It's not, doesn't sell that well. So, as much as I'm really excited for this rumored F-Zero remake, but
maybe not for us, but Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing could sell them, but again, it wouldn't sell me. Like that game, what did Animal Crossing?
It's the second best selling Switch game.
So it's
like
45 million copies. So like that will push units, but it won't push a unit into me. I'm not like, you know what, I need some fucking
I could see it. Let's
farming
say
simulating.
Like
That's what I need.
an animal. Let's say an Animal Crossing and a Metroid Prime. It's like, here's your Prime for your hardcore. Here's your Animal Crossing for you. A bit like, obviously, we had like Zombie U and Mario. Or,
that didn't end well for them, did it? That's the thing.
Twilight Princess and Wii Sports.
I can't see them trying to push Metroid Prime as a launch title. I just can't. I just think it'd be so foolish to think that people are going to buy anything for Metroid Prime. It's just not a good selling franchise. As much as it's a good game, don't get me wrong, it's not a franchise that pushes units. But anyway,
the one that would definitely ship units, but it's definitely not going to be with Pokemon.
They could launch with a Pokemon if it's the end of the year, and they're doing DLC this year, maybe a remake as well. Like, they could absolutely turn around and go, well, the next big Pokemon game is a launch title, and that would sell stupid money because obviously Pokemon never fails. But they also traditionally,
they always have a end of the year Pokemon game, don't they?
Well, they did either that or DLC. So like they will, but I don't think they've ever launched a console with Pokemon. I think they always tend to put Pokemon on the previous gen to get the most money. Yeah. So, there's 150 million Switches. They're just going to put Pokemon on that, aren't they? And it will sell.
They'll do a spin-off Pokemon. That's my prediction. It'd be some weird, like Pokemon Snap or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like as the launch title.
Yeah.
Well, they could do. I mean, Pokemon anything would sell well. So if they did a Pokemon trading card game 3 or whatever, then that would probably do quite well. But
I guess the only other thing for me is when it comes, because it's rumored like it might come like September and October. Like how close it is to the PS5 Pro, and then what the PS5 Pro does.
So if you had to choose, Chris, last thing before we end the podcast, PS5 Pro, Xbox Series X2, Switch 2, all this. Don't worry about money because you'll find a way. So don't even be like, well, that's cheaper because it doesn't make a difference. Money's not a problem for Chris Pengelly. Yeah. So which one would you choose?
Is the Switch 2 an all new console? Is it or was it just like a new 3DS?
Say that it's a new console that launches with 2 games.
So brand new console, I would go for the Switch 2.
Okay. Craig?
If it was like a new 3DS though, or DSi, I might go for the PS5 Pro.
Maybe.
It depends what the PS5 Pro launch with, because if you're looking at end of 2024, it's not going to be Rebirth because that's the early. It's not going to be. But if let's say it's like Kingdom Hearts 4, for instance.
But that will still work on your PS5.
Yes, but it's 4K 60 frames a second on my PS5 Pro.
it's just not enough of a.
Well, you hope it is, yeah.
It's just not enough of a needle mover for me. I'm not
No.
fussed about the 4K 60 stuff. I just really
Yeah.
don't care. Like maybe
That
that's just
could be-
me, but
And then if it's, like I said, if it's just a new 3DS and it's Pokemon, it works on your old Switch and your new Switch sort of thing, I would mostly go. But if the Pokemon game only works on Switch 2, then I'll go Switch 2.
okay. Craigo.
Mm.
I know the answer, but I've got.
I would just get the more powerful Xbox, definitely.
Okay.
100%.
Oh yeah. For me, it's the Switch every time.
Yeah.
Obviously, PlayStation's done for me at this point, and Xbox. I don't play my Xbox enough to justify spending another £600 on another one when the one I've got
That's
here works
why the
perfectly fine.
Xbox. Yeah, I didn't really play my Xbox enough to warrant the upgrade.
Lovely. Well, I've tried to end this so many times, but we're going to end it for proper now. Thank you for watching the podcast, everyone. If you got this far, comment if you would buy a Switch 2 if it came out next year, or if you would hold on to your current Switch. Yes, if you want to catch us, you know where we are on the socials. Me and Craig are nowhere to be found, but Pengy is on Twitter at MassiveDas. And we will see you.
You mean on X?
On X, yeah, also on x.com as MassiveDas. And we will see you at some point in the future for our top 100 games list that we want to do, and we'll do 3 videos for that. But yes, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.